Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this edition of Primetime Newscast on Canal de International. I'm called Morinzi. We'll begin with our top stories. Six diplomatic missions in Cameroon have frowned at the persistent attacks of schools in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon led by the US and UK. The foreign mission in Cameroon have written a joint declaration to the government of Cameroon to take steps to ensure the UN resolution 2601 is respected. And it's been 2 years since COVID-19 ravaged the world, forcing economic blocs to impose strict border restrictions, but that's beginning to change. The European Union has started scrapping COVID-19 restriction for business to go back to normal. This, however, is against advice of WHO, asking nations to exercise more patience. And the scarcity of mackerel fish heightens markets across Cameroon. The population are frustrated. Others have opted for other dairy products. Those are major stories. Details right ahead.
Canal International.
Good evening once more. 6 diplomatic missions in Cameroon have frowned at the persistent attacks of schools in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon led by the US and the UK. The foreign missions in Cameroon have written a joint declaration to the government of Cameroon to take steps to ensure the UN resolution 2601 is strictly respected. More on the story with our reporter, Regina Leketanda.
At least 700,000 children have been affected by forced closure of schools in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. For many children, this is a 5th consecutive year of limited or no access to school as members of the educational community continue to bear the brunt of the armed conflict.
That's a resolution that was passed by the United Nations Security Council so that when there is an armed conflict, the right to education should not be jeopardized. You know, the right to education is a fundamental human right. When you look at the provisions of Articles 26 of the Universal Declaration on Human Rights, so children have the right to be educated.
Worried about the situation, 6 diplomatic missions in Cameroon, notably Canada, USA, UK, Norway, South Africa and Switzerland, have released a joint statement urging all parties to respect access to education in line with the UN Security Council Resolution 2601.
The mother of that child was killed during that incident, and that parent could not allow the child to be killed, so he escaped with the child and brought the child to Douala, and then brought the child to our school, and then tried to find information to know more about the family of that child, to no avail.
We have witnessed and seen a lot of abuses as far as the right to education is concerned. We have seen schools being burnt down during the armed conflict. We have seen teachers being kidnapped and requested to pay ransom.
The foreign missions have in this joint declaration called on government to take bold steps to ensure that children can attend school in safety.
It's been 2 years since COVID-19 ravaged the world, forcing economic blocs to impose strict border restrictions. But that's beginning to change. The European Union has started to scraping off COVID-19 restrictions for business to go back to normal. But this is against the World Health Organization, asking nations to exercise more patience. As we hear the following story with our reporter, Idris Ngamo.
COVID-19 is still a huge strain on society, and with the Omicron variant, European countries seize the prospect of more variants in the future. As such, European governments are now taking the model of living with COVID-19 as an endemic disease, like the flu, rather than trying to eradicate it. England, like Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, are about pushing people to normal life, and so relax or uplift COVID-19 rules, doing away with the restrictions. Despite the warning from the World Health Organization Director General that it is premature for any country to surrender and declare victory, advising them to have a little more patience before lifting the restrictions. Thus far, Sweden has lifted the use of vaccine passport. Free testing has also ended in the country, and the government is looking to reclassify COVID-19 as a disease that is not a danger to society or threat to public health, believing the situation is sufficiently stable to begin facing our infection control measures. The United Kingdom, on its part, wants to revoke the law that requires people who test positive to self-isolation. Denmark Prime Minister welcomes a life we lived before. Norway keeps back social distancing rules. Mask no longer mandatory in any event. Lift restrictions on travels alongside use of vaccine and health pass. Opening of nightclubs. Though the number of cases has also dropped here in Cameroon, face mask control is down. Conscious COVID-19 is still around.
The 2020 edition of African Cup of Nations has come and gone, with Cameroon lauded for a successful organization of the tournament, with thousands of visitors in Cameroon during that period. With regards to the COVID-19, the Ministry of Public Health says measures were taken to contain the spread of the disease. Health experts in the following report provide analysis to that. More with Saleh Sharifa.
According to the Ministry of Health, the African Cup of Nations organized in Cameroon was a success. In the aspect of COVID-19, the situation was highly under control. Less than 30 patients were hospitalized throughout the nation.
Cameroon a pris les mesures qu'il fallait.
Cameroon has taken the necessary measures to effectively limit the spread of the disease during the great celebration of the African Cup of Nations, which has just been held and ended in our country. The goal was really to reassure themselves that after this competition, the population is always safe.
La population soit toujours en sécurité.
During a meeting to assess the health coverage of African Cup of Nations, Total Energies 2021, this February 10th, 2022, the Minister of Health, Manauda Malashi, reassured that the health situation of Cameroon was highly under control. As 30 COVID-19 patients were hospitalized, 1.6% fatality rate and 1.4% severity rate, with healing rate of 97%.
Le résultat est plutôt satisfaisant.
The result is rather satisfactory, because this work allowed us to realize that on the rapid diagnostic test, more than 120,000 people were effectively sampled, and around 1,200 came back positive.
Et environ 1,200 sont revenus positifs.
Reassuring news for Cameroon, which has just organized the 33rd edition of the African Cup of Nations. 864,882 Cameroonians received at least one dose of vaccine. Despite all these precautions, the health authorities call on Cameroonians to be vaccinated and continue to respect barrier gestures.
The scarcity of mackerel heightens in markets across Cameroon, affecting millions of Cameroonians. The city of Yaoundé, only a tiny few of the highly consumed fish type can be spotted in cold stores. More on the story with our reporter, Hyson Cha.
Fish roasters with unhappy faces in front of this cold store over the persistent scarcity of the mackerel fish species here at the Mfundi market.
C'est rare. Vous-même regardez ce que vous avez filmé là tout à l'heure là. C'est le petit maquereau. Nous ne voulons pas de petits maquereaux. On avait dit qu'après la canne, il devait avoir le poisson. Mais malheureusement, ça continue toujours à avoir. Il n'y a pas de poisson sur le marché. On est en train de briser du n'importe quoi. Tout ce qui est comme poisson qu'on peut briser, nous prenons. On satisfait les clients. On les amène à comprendre qu'il n'y a pas le maquereau.
The big and reasonable sizes of the fish said to have been absent for a considerable period. These making things difficult for the different households and the petty fish traders.
Il n'y a pas le maquereau sur le marché. Et vous pouvez voir les écrevisses que nous on a là. On va prendre ça dans d'autres poissonneries, les 1750 le kilo, les 1800. Un maquereau que tu ne peux même pas vendre à 500 un poisson. Donc nous sommes dépassés, débordés. Nous on ne sait pas. Maintenant là, nous on est en chômage, on peut dire. Parce que quand tu travailles normalement et quand tu n'as plus, tu vas faire comment? Nous on brise les mulets, les thons. Quand on trouve, même les thons là, il n'y a pas, c'est rare sur le marché. Tu ne trouves pas, il faut sortir très tôt pour venir trouver. Vous voyez vous-même, vous entrez dans les poissonneries, vous voyez les poissons pourris. Il n'y a rien.
The situation many decry has brought about exorbitant prices.
Mais ailleurs, les prix sont plus chers. On va faire comment? Chacun donne son prix comme il veut.
Visiting some of the cold stores this Tuesday in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, the fish business operators and importers say the insufficiency is from the supply sources and mechanisms are on the way to seeking lasting solutions.
Fishers who have abandoned their duty posts and those involved in fishy games have been warned to get back on the right track. The warning came from the Minister of Basic Education, Laurent Serge Etudingwa, during their annual conference of officials of his ministry that took place this Tuesday in Yaoundé. More the story with our reporter Utmu Kusumi.
It is with much disappointment that the Minister Laurent Serge Etudingwa frowns at some teachers of the basic education sectors for numerous irregularities, ranging from the abandonment of duty posts, fraudulent transactions between teachers and school authorities, among others. The Minister of Basic Education sends warning signals to such recalcitrant pedagogues to quickly adjust and take functions or shall face heavy sanctions.
I think that we will take measures. This is sure. We will take measures because the problems we point out are those that we have documented already. So we cannot go to the end without a result. It's also because some authorities of the country cannot write to the minister, point out things at the regional level, and we come here and conclude that there is nothing.
Presiding over the annual meeting, group officials of the central and external services of this ministry, February 15 in Yaoundé, the Basic Education Boss noted with regret the creation and management of some schools in some parts of the country without the knowledge of his ministry. The 2 days come together is an association to evaluate the successes and failures of ongoing 2021-2022 academic year and consolidate preparations ahead of the end-of-year official exams.
Some 64 owners of low-cost houses constructed by the government of Cameroon have officially received their keys from the Minister of Urban Development and Housing. Beneficiaries decried a cumbersome procedures. Others had to wait for 10 years to have the keys to their houses. More in the following story.
It has been a long time. We really waited for long.
She is one of the beneficiaries of the low-cost houses project and Banga Bakoko in Cameroon's economic city, Douala. Receiving her keys from the Minister of Housing and Urban Development this February 14 breaks 10 years of a cumbersome procedure. She cries out.
I subscribed for this program in 2012, just at the beginning of the whole program. And then so I had to wait for 10 years. Generally, what we do is that we pay 10% of personal, contribution to the amount, the total amount or the total cost of the apartment that they are going to give you. And that's all.
Besides Monte, 63 others who gave similar complaints of what they described as an embarrassing procedure which needs urgent readjustment from government. Serge Ponde tells me how he waited for 9 years to finally get his keys and adds that others had given up out of frustration. The Association of Landlords of Low-Cost Houses and Banga Bakoko, while congratulating governments for their actions, also brought to light the challenges in the area, which centers around insecurity. The Minister of Housing and Urban Development reiterates the respect of the terms of the contract and many more.
Happy at 8 times in Cameroon and 4 times here in Douala. And I've told them that the next 2 months I will be back here to hand over also other keys to our buyers, those who have faith.
This is the 4th ceremony of the distribution of keys to owners in the city of Douala. Many more ceremonies have been envisaged before this year comes to an end. Just to recall, governments in a bid to provide decent houses to its citizens engaged in the construction of low-cost houses. One of such houses was constructed at Banga Bakoko in the Littoral region.
Italian fashion, taste and style, and also their know-how will be exhibited at the upcoming Promote Fair to run from the 19th to the 27th of February 2022. The Friendly and Brotherly Nation is announcing a very important delegation of Italian entrepreneurs or enterprises to the event. The interest was disclosed during a press conference organized by the Italian ambassador to Cameroon. More in the following story.
Italy is announcing a powerful delegation for the upcoming Promote Fair in Yaoundé, constituting about 40 companies. Specialty includes
in the food industry, but also the mechanics, but we have architecture and construction companies. We have in the medical space. We have companies that are in the energy space. And these are all areas of collaboration that Cameroon and Italy have already shown that they can work together.
Companies representing all the major sectors of the interchange between Italy and Cameroon.
We are coming from 600 million euro in 2019. These 600 million euro, more or less, became 350 million euro in 2020. We have projections for 2021. We are climbing very slowly back to 400 million interchange. We believe that the potential of the interchange between Italy and Cameroon is well above the 600 million that was there before the pandemic.
In a press conference Monday, Italian ambassador to Cameroon, Filippo Scamacca del Mogo, accompanied by the representative of Italian agencies for external trade, disclosed the importance of their participation in the regional fair.
Our industry is growing. We need more of all that we are sourcing in Cameroon. So also for Cameroon companies that are coming to visit us, it's an opportunity to increase trade towards Italy.
Their highlights include the inauguration of Italian stand, February the 21st, a mini Italy-Cameroon forum on the 22nd. Other rendezvous includes presentation of projects of associations in the diaspora, presentation of companies, and the B2B encounter, the Italian menu for the Promote Fair, to run from the 19th to the 27th of this February at the Yaoundé Conference Center.
French language at exactly 19h50 at 7:50 with Alain Gislain Kanga. But coming up next is the brief with Lil Pieshu. So me, I'll be back same time tomorrow. Good night.